Okay, this is the problem here. Craig and I use the definition for chemtrail that is the common definition. It seems that you two have a different definition for chemtrail that you're
There you go. Yes, define it.
talking about. Maybe if you two could just clarify very specifically.
I realize
I was really just talking. I was nearly done when your impulse control just kicked in there, right?
I like this guy. This is funny.
So, if you could just very specifically...
Well, you guys get to talk twice. I don't know what your deal is.
Oh my God, dude.
Right?
Just, they're such whiny little every single fucking time. They're whiny little They cannot help themselves but to complain about stupid shit constantly.
It's over now.
It's getting old quick.
Go ahead, MC. Go ahead, MC.
Very old, very fast. All right.
All right.
This isn't the dumpster fire portion of the debate, right? I expect that during the dumpster fire portion of it. Okay.
Man, sack up. Come on. What were you trying to say?
So, Sarah, you're going to need to be a little more aggressive on the moderating.
That's going to work.
Craig.
Why is he laughing at this? It's fucking insufferable to have somebody doing this stupid shit during a debate. Seriously.
Was going to filibuster after Craig one time.
What were you trying? Hold on, Ben.
All
What were you
right,
trying to
let's
say?
stop. Okay, we get the Craig 1, Craig 2 joke. It's done, and it's old now, and it's not part of the argument, and it's not being productive. We're going to put that one to the side, save it for later. All right, MC, you were saying something. Go ahead and please finish.
I would very much appreciate it if they could define for the audience what chemtrail means to them, so that we can all have the same definition that we're working on.
Also, what their problem with it is.
Okay, so let's look at the word chem. What do you suppose chem means? Chemical. Oh shit, chemical. And then trail. Trail. The thing in the sky that stands out.
Okay, now what's your problem with it?
The clouds, the trails left behind planes that are chemicals intentionally put
I mean, air is a chemical. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, chemicals exist all around us. Literally everything is a chemical in the universe. So yeah, there are chemical trails coming from my mouth right now. Chemtrails. I'm making chemtrails as we speak.
Atmosphere that are not, that's not condensation, right? It's a pretty simple one. It's
not frozen water.
Right.
No. What? Say that. What did you say?
Trails of chemicals intentionally sprayed into the environment, not contrails.
Okay, so behind passenger planes.
Any plane, behind planes.
Okay, so it is exactly what I specifically said. So there are two different classifications: the geoengineering ones that Craig and I don't disagree with at all, and the ones behind passenger planes that you can see in the sky. Those are the ones we are talking about. Since we all agree that the others exist, there's no problem with that at all. We don't disagree. Not really something to have a discussion about. So it's specifically about what is behind passenger planes.
There at no point ever in either any definition or has anybody ever said passenger planes. Passenger plane has nothing to do with it. The type of plane has nothing to do.
Prompt somewhere?
It's not in the prompt. It's not in the definition either of them provided.
It's the known definition that the majority of the world, anyone with a functioning brain uses. And
there's the problem.
Hope harder.
There's the problem.
Yeah, so during the
basically, here's the bottom line with this: they cannot deal with the fact that they can't defend their own argument. So they back way off into a position that is just like, it's just nonsense. Like, they're not even defending anything. They're not defending or attacking anything. And now the debate is over because they don't want to take part in it, seemingly, because they can't defend it. That seems to me that that's what's happening right now.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
That you can identify is that during the boogeyman in the air time, that
talking about COVID, I think
flights dropped off 80+%.
We're aware of this.
We're all pretty aware that most people weren't doing anything but sitting home. Commercial flights dropped off 70%. Weirdly, MIT, and I feel like you guys are all right with MIT. It's not neonatal or something. That they've been tracking that on an independent study to do the effects. Now, they aren't sampling them. They're just using satellite imagery to check coverage. And oddly, even though there was almost no commercial jets, no private jets flying, in between them, an 75 to 80% reduction, but only 20% reduction on chemtrails.
I don't understand what his point is. Is he trying to say that when COVID happened, there was a 70 to 80% reduction in like passenger flights, but only a 20% reduction in chemtrails? Is that what he's saying? I think so. I'm not sure what point he's making here. Well, I know what point. I guess the point he's making is there's an intentional, specific effort to like spread chemicals through the atmosphere to make us stupider.
Interesting.
Or on trails. That's very interesting. I didn't make a positive claim on what's in any of these. I only heard you guys making positive claims on what.
Oh my God, dude.
Them, and I've never been up into the chemtrails with like a container grabbing them. I don't know what it is, but I know that the people that are known to fly, that do stuff that I can easily track.
Well, that's the thing. He says, I don't know what it is. We do know what it is. We're fully aware of what it is. We can like look at government programs and find out what they're doing. We can go to like Idaho Department of Water Resources. I looked this up earlier and see what they're doing. See the projects that they're working on. We can ask scientists about how contrails work or whatever, which is what we're doing right now, really. You are claiming it's something more, or you're claiming that you don't trust it. It's not trustworthy. You are claiming that we have reason to distrust it. This is like the debate about who has the burden of proof. Is the earth round or is the earth flat? Which side has a burden of proof? The answer is both have the burden of proof. The position, the neutral position, not the correct position, not the objective position, but the neutral position is, I don't know. The correct position is it's round because all of the evidence points to that. And if you're going to take the neutral position, then you're going to have to give us reason to distrust this stuff. 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. We know that for a fact. We have the records. We went through all this stuff. We know this beyond question. If you're going to claim you don't trust it, you have to give us a reason to believe your claim that it's not trustworthy. You can't just back into another position. Like as an atheist, when I have debates on atheism, I'm backing into a neutral position, but I am poking holes in the evidence that people give me. They're making a positive claim. They claim to have a ton of evidence that God exists. They don't. So I can back into the neutral position and say, I don't know, and still be logically sound because they don't have any evidence. We have a ton of evidence for how contrails work. And these people aren't even denying that evidence. They're not denying anything that these people say. They're just saying, I don't know. I believe there's more to it, or whatever. It's nonsense. It's always been nonsense.
I'll quit flying. But
and backstage, there's the PubMed paper about bees dying because of increased aluminum levels.
So no, wait, now you're telling me that they're spraying aluminum into the atmosphere to kill bees? It's not just about they're spraying things into the atmosphere. It's that they're doing it intentionally to do damage to society or animals or whatever. They want to back themselves into a little position that's completely uncontroversial, when in reality, they're not just coming out and telling us what they really believe. It's insufferable.
The aluminum levels came from geoengineering?
Yeah, you're going to have to prove that.
It does not say that. It doesn't.
Oh, right. So it's irrelevant to the discussion then.
That which is asserted without evidence is dismissed without evidence.
Yeah, they made a good point. Do you think aluminum's being sprayed into the atmosphere? And he says, no, it's not about that. Then why are we even talking about it? What's that have to do with fucking anything? The thing is, he does believe that. But he doesn't want to just come out and say it. He doesn't just want to be honest about it. He wants to try to back into a position that he doesn't have to defend, that he doesn't have to put any effort into defending. Why even debate at that point, honestly? What is the point? Why are you even here?
Yeah.
Let's use a little. Let's apply a little bit because this is not the point of the research. It's the point of the research is to find out what's killing bees. What's killing bees is aluminum. They're not.
Oh wait, is this debate about what's killing bees?
Well, you totally changed the topic in the debate.
You just asked for that, didn't you? Just ask for any evidence that the chemicals being.
Well, I asked for evidence that chemtrails.
There we
You
go.
need to prove that chemtrails contain aluminum.
Sprayed out of these geoengineering planes.
I don't know.
This is nonsense. Planes are not spraying aluminum into the atmosphere.
Your claim.
It's aluminum.
Where's that? Prove it.
Can you show us the evidence that the number one thing sprayed out of the plane?
You haven't looked at any of the evidence I've put backstage for you so far.
I think
Oh, he says I gave you the evidence. Okay, well, give it to me again then. He didn't give us shit. These people are so full of shit. Every word out of their fucking mouth.
relatability flow would have to be, you'd have to prove that chemtrails are real in that regard first in order
Sarah,
to.
very botting a bit.
No, you
Am
don't.
I?
No.
Well, I guess that was
It
just
might
me.
be you. It might be you. You have to but you have to start with proving that the chemtrails are real, and that then
And
they would
that they contain aluminum.
return you to effect based on if you're going to run the line of logic that would affect the bees, right? You can't
All right.
like utilizing
I
the
can
bees.
do it for them because they want to drag their feet.
Fantastic. Do it for us. That's why you're here. We are literally like an hour into this debate, actually 30 minutes because it started late. And he's just now giving us the evidence that we're looking for, supposedly.
To the grave, but that's not. Give me a second.
And
Give me a second, he says.
You also have to tell us how often the geoengineering has happened and the percentage of
I do
the
not have to do
aluminium
any
that
of
has then
that
been
shit.
put into the air and the toxic amount of aluminium to bees.
He does have to do that because he's making a positive claim that is absolutely fucking ridiculous. He has to give us the evidence to believe the things that he's claiming if he wants anybody to believe it. And part of that evidence is him explaining this stuff to us. These massive inconsistencies that are easily disproven by our evidence that we can look at.
And the percentage that has come from chemtrails versus other ways of aluminium
and
getting
I'm
into
curious
the environment. You know.
how the delivery is done, because aluminum is a solid. How are they doing that? That's amazing.
That wouldn't be hard to think through. Obviously, you wouldn't be spraying aluminum bricks. It's an aerosol.
Have you ever seen ash in the air or
Aluminum aerosol. They're spraying an aluminum aerosol.
I noticed that you guys.
Wait, so we're changing it from chemtrails to dust.
Hold on. Let Benjamin finish.
I noticed you guys keep complaining we aren't making positive claims, and I'm 100% positive. Here's a positive claim for you that you guys were waiting for bad positive claims for us, hoping we'd say some really crazy shit.
And they're refusing to defend the position that they really believe. Look, we've known that airplanes can, for example, drop pesticides over crops for a long time. That's why farmers have crop dusting planes. There's nothing surprising about that. There was never anything surprising about that. You are claiming the government is doing it on a large scale with the intent to brainwash people and make them infertile and stupider and all this other shit. You are making a positive claim. If your claim is that crop dusting is possible, why the fuck are you here? This is what happens when you have absolutely no evidence for what you're arguing, and you know you have no evidence for it. It's conspiracy theory all the way down.
That way you can fight the crazy shit when the fact is chemtrails are a known thing that they do in many different ways.
Yeah, not the stuff we disagree with though.
The debate is, are chemtrails real?
Yeah,
Geoengineering, not chemtrails.
Yeah. This is a classic Mott and Bailey fallacy here. The Mott being the thing that we know exists, right? So it's a Bailey. We know that geoengineering exists. The Mott is the things behind airplanes that are passenger airplanes and things that the picture that Fluffy put up earlier.
So you're wanting us. What is it you're wanting us to prove then?
I would love him to prove that this is being done maliciously and pervasively, intentionally by like private companies or by government actors or whatever in an attempt to affect people's brains rather than just like dusting their crops, for example.
It's not that planes are spraying chemicals into the atmosphere. That is not contrails.
Yeah, so you need to show that it's something other than burned kerosene that is in behind the passenger planes. Unless you don't make that claim.
Aside from kerosene or aside from geoengineering chemicals, right?
If you don't, no, we've already stated.
Dude, what the hell is happening? Is it me?
Kerosene or aside from geoengineering chemicals, right?
If you don't know, we've already stated that we agree on the.
Dude, I can't tell if it's me. Did this freeze? What's going on here? Okay, I guess it just froze. Whatever.
We've already stated that we agree on those.
And you know how much of it's geoengineering chemicals by your positive claim.
No. We want any evidence that it's anything other than just geoengineering. I'll take literally anything. They have nothing. Their positive claim is that it's more than just geoengineering. More than what we straight up know.
I'm waiting for the proof. Yeah. You to put up a good point of how much.
It's not a good fucking point. My God.
That you know, because you've made the positive claim. I realize
you got the formula.
Yes, I put the formula up for how kerosene burns.
Much. Well, I'm waiting for you to prove how much. Where you made the positive claims, guys.
They literally don't understand the first fucking thing about basic logic. Basic, straightforward, logical deduction. Does he know what the word fallacy means?
I showed you. Yeah.
All that proved that most of it's water and a certain number of it's chemical. Show us.
We did.
No, you didn't.
We showed you the formula to calculate it.
Yeah. Did you not understand that?
Maths is a little bit beyond your pay grade.
The burn formula. You can give me a formula. That's not evidence of something.
Yeah, so
you would say that because
you take kerosene.
I can tell you.
You put it in the tank and you burn it.
Equals C squared. Does that prove that we live on a triangle?
I think MC was trying to answer your question.
MC is always trying to answer. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's the point of it.
What the fuck? What kind of an insult is that even?
That's a question that we answer.
Yeah. So jet fuel is well known to be kerosene, and that's what you put into a plane. And when you burn it, because how jet engines work is well understood. I'm not going to walk through that. If you don't understand that, that's on you. But
pretty clean burning, aren't they?
They are very clean burning. So you burn that, and that's what you get. You get carbon dioxide and water out of that transaction. So that is water vapor in the air. And
what was the name of the fallacy that you said
the Mott and Bailey fallacy is what he said. Yeah. The Mott and Bailey fallacy is a rhetorical trick where someone switches between two versions of an argument, one that's easy to defend, the Mott, and one that's more controversial and harder to defend, the Bailey, depending on how much pushback they're getting. Wow, I didn't actually realize that was what the Mott and Bailey is. It's a good point. Yes, absolutely. Equivocation is another word I would have used to define it. Equivocation is... equivocation is when someone uses a single word or phrase in multiple senses within the same argument without clarifying the shift in meaning. The argument hinges on ambiguity. The speaker switches definitions midstream to mislead or confuse, like a feather is light. What is light cannot be dark. Therefore, a feather cannot be dark. Here, light changes meaning from not heavy to not dark. This is a painfully obvious example, but there are more like pernicious examples of it. Mott and Bailey, on the other hand, is where someone retreats to a more defensible position when challenged, and then later returns the more extreme or controversial one. Yeah, this is a Mott and Bailey, clear as day what they're doing here. Not equivocation, I would say. And they need to be called on that. Of course, they have been called on it, but they need to be forced to answer for it, rather than continuing the argument, seems to me.
Thing that everybody knows.
And the dew point is what determines whether or not there's a visible condensation or not. So that is all well established science. I've made that positive claim, and I've supported it with the backing physics. Now, Now, if you think there's something
of how much, that's
if
what we're
you
waiting for you
think
to
there's-
answer in your diatribe.
If you think there's something other than burned kerosene in there, then you have the burden of proof. But if you don't think there is something other than burned kerosene in there, then we are in agreement.
Nobody's arguing with jet fuel.
Yeah.
Oh, so there isn't anything beyond jet fuel in planes, then, is what you're telling me.
You keep trying to
I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Not just beyond jet fuel. There's nothing beyond just kerosene, just the basic chemicals required to keep a jet afloat and nothing more. And there isn't an intentional effort, because by saying that, he was cleverly trying to slip in this belief that like jet fuel has the chemicals. Like they don't even have to release anything. They just put it in the jet fuel and then blah, blah, blah. But the dude gave us the equation for jet fuel burning specifically. There were no other additional chemicals in there. And there's also no proof that it was an intentional thing that he set out to do.
Then we're done.
We didn't ask.
Sarah, we're done.
Our question was your positive claim of how much contrail versus chemtrail there is, because you guys, we didn't ask the chemical formula. We didn't ask about how kerosene and jet engines
we
work.
made that claim.
We didn't ask none of that shit. In fact, I'm not even arguing.
Yeah, we didn't make that claim.
Not
We're
even
just making up a claim that we've made.
You guys said that it's mostly just water vapor. How do you know? How do you know the percentages? Please do show me the percentages.
I showed you the formula.
Contrail.
How do you know it's not, is the question. They are making a positive claim that there's something more in there than just jet fuel.
And what's contrail?
We know the things you see in the sky behind passenger jets, they're contrails.
Can you establish that besides just stating the claim?
Yes.
Okay.
You can work out the chemical that will be released after the jet fuel burns and releases combustion. You will have water mainly as the chemical that is released, because obviously water is technically a chemical.
Equal water and carbon dioxide, actually.
Yeah, you have water and carbon dioxide and a bit of soot and dirt and stuff. That is
That's
the
the
chemicals.
normal
I'm in the middle of
combustion.
talking. Hold your horses.
Yeah, but you're
I'm in the middle of
Hold on. Hey, let me offer a translation that I think might be applicable. I may be wrong. So Craig and MC are saying this is what comes out of the tail end of the airplane, right? Based on the fuel, so on and so forth.
Yep.
They provided a formula. I'm guessing that came from
Chemistry.
Yeah,
application of chemistry.
That's basic physics, which that to
chemistry.
me would be like proof in and of itself of what would like how physics operate in terms of aerodynamics and all that fun stuff. All right, but Benjamin and Flo, you are saying that it's not the stuff that's in there.
He's saying that's the only thing that comes out of the back of planes, and then he's giving us the formula for combustion.
So then,
But we're not. Hold on, let me explain. We're not confused about combustion, right?
He didn't give us the formula for combustion. He gave us the formula for the combustion of jet fuel and what it turns into, thus proving that there isn't any of this additional shit that they're claiming is in there, like aluminum aerosol and shit. He was debunking one of their claims that they were inevitably going to get to, which they did eventually get to, is what it is. So it's not just some pointless, useless thing.
Good. We're saying, how does he know that's the only thing coming out of the back of planes?
How do you know it's not? How do you know it's not? You are making an additional claim.
Okay, but the burden of proof lies on you with the question. It says, are chemtrails real? You have the affirmative stance, therefore you have to provide the proof that it is. So if you're saying, hold on. Let me get the translation out. So what I'm saying is if you believe there is something different coming out of the tail end, then that is what you're needing to prove in this conversation. Instead of just saying, right, you're providing physics, but the physics are great, but there's something else added in. Well, then that's what you need to provide. Does that make sense?
So
it does.
Then
hold on, let me make sure. MC and Craig, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's where we're sitting here. So the burden falls to you to prove otherwise, because physics is physics, right? That would be hard to deny that.
Nobody's hung up on that.
Okay.
I mean, the issue is that they started off by saying
Here's where the switcheroo happened. They've actually already admitted that there are planes that spray chemicals.
Yes, crop dusting planes have been in use by farmers, for example, for a long time. Of course. That has nothing to do with the idea that the government is coming along and fucking brainwashing people with, you know, secretly infused, like, jet fuel with, like, chemicals to blah, 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 whatever the fuck. He's acting like he got a W here. Oh my God, dude.
Now there's a secondary positive claim, which is which planes are doing it.
He has no fucking clue what he is talking about. Again, he doesn't know the first thing about logic, not the first thing.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know what any given plane is spraying out.
Then why the fuck are you here? You told us that you think chemtrails are real, that people are really spraying chemicals that brainwash people and shit.
All right, let me answer that.
You're in the wrong place then.
Positive claim.
Yeah, right.
This is the wrong place for you.
Are you guys going to wait till I'm done talking? Because you can
you know
answer
what?
it. Yeah,
You asked the question. Let me
Or are you just going to keep talking while I'm talking?
Finish, Ben. Go ahead and finish the statement, and then we'll redirect it to.
Claim that they know exactly which planes are spraying what. We never said that.
Let me answer that.
And so now they've got to stand up for their positive claim, and they're asking us to say.
He does not understand the first thing about how this works.
We know
in circles. Let me answer your
out of these
question.
planes.
Okay, go ahead,
Right,
Craig
cool.
or MC.
Yeah, the answer is they tell you when they are spraying. If there is any geoengineering happening, the rules are that they have to announce it, and it's publicly available knowledge. And any passenger jet that you can track doesn't spray chemicals because they don't have anywhere to store them.
So let me
Passenger
really.
So the fact that they don't have anywhere to store these chemicals, that is going to be, I would bet, rebutted by the claim that it's in the jet fuel, that they're burning jet fuel and releasing these toxic chemicals into the atmosphere, thus backing themselves into a potentially more reasonable position than they're intentionally setting out to, like, alter your state of mind by spraying chemicals everywhere. It's just jet fuel's unhealthy for us. That's what they're going to back themselves into. Mott and Bailey. They're going to start with a completely ridiculous, unreasonable conclusion, and then they're going to back themselves into something more reasonable until they don't have to defend their original premise in the first place.
Let me just really drill that in. So the link that you sent, the very first link, why does NOAA collect information about weather modification? The Weather Modification Reporting Act of 1972 requires that all persons who conduct weather modification activities within the United States or its territories report such activities to the U.S. Secretary of Commerce at least 10 days prior to and after undertaking the activities. Failure to report can result in fines of up to $10,000. So if you think that the stuff behind passenger planes are this, and if you don't think that they are, then we're in complete agreement. But if you think that they are, then these things would be things that could be reported to NOAA for a $10,000 fine. NOAA, the National something Atmospheric Association or whatever the fuck, the government group that monitors atmospheric conditions and reports on climate change and shit, and as a result has been defunded by Trump, you know? And Ted Cruz specifically set out, I remember this, to prevent NOAA from publishing data about particles in the atmosphere. He intentionally tried to prevent them from releasing how much carbon was in the atmosphere because he didn't like what it said. This is like saying we can deal with COVID by just not testing people anymore. Trump's tactic. I could defend these idiots' positions better than they can. Aircrafts are made out of aluminum, and when that's superheated by the combustion of kerosene, it causes some of the aluminum to be released into the atmosphere. It builds up in the atmosphere over time and reaches dangerous levels. I don't actually believe this because it isn't what actually happens. Interesting, yeah. Well, the problem is they don't understand the first thing about any of this. Like, not only do they not understand chemtrails at all, but they don't understand debate, even. And I have to wonder, like, do they know they're doing a Mott and Bailey right now? Are they aware of that? Or is it just like,
Oh shit! I didn't know I could get an exquisite beast spine from these guys. I need to equip the morph materia so I can grab some of that. Interesting. Anyway, I have to wonder if they just kind of face planted into this Mott and Bailey. If it was like an accident, if you will.
Incident. So
Yeah.
You keep throwing the passenger plane in there and hoping it sticks.
Question, right?
You keep hoping the passenger plane part of it sticks, but it's never going to stick.
okay, so you don't think that passenger planes are doing that? Is that your case?
Take the word passenger out of your vocabulary. Nobody cares about passengers except
Well, then we've
bring
answered
something
the
in to make
question.
it so you're not losing.
We've answered the question. The question was, how do you know which ones are which? The answer is they tell you so you can go and look.
Okay, that's great, but still, again, nobody's over here is concerned about passenger.
Okay.
Y'all are trying to find something.
So passenger- Greg, I think we're in agreement. There is no debate.
If that answer's so easy,
Yeah, no, we won.
then you
There
should be
is
able
no
to tell
debate.
me what percentage is chemtrails and what percentage is contrails, which is the question
this is the
I asked
problem.
like 20 minutes ago.
There is
Yeah,
no
we've
debate
answered
here.
There is
Sarah
still a
made it
debate.
clear that if they think that chemtrails are a thing, then they have the burden of evidence. That's the prompt for the debate. But so far, it sounds like they agree that geoengineering projects exist. So do we. They do not make any claims about passenger planes, and I'm fine with that. We are done. There is nothing left to discuss.
There you go. That was the best way to do it. He backed himself into a position that is completely defensible because he's not making any absurd claims in the first place. So they win. There you go. You convinced them, basically.
Me the word passenger in the email and the prompt anywhere before literally right now when you guys are talking.
We
Wow.
in the 48 minutes.
You can't. Y'all
in the-
motherfuckers are grabbing for something to save you.
the
debate that we're
but
still
you
having
could-
is whether
you
or
could
not you lost.
you could very
hold on,
clearly
hold on.
end this question right now by stating whether or not you think that passenger planes do
I
have
want you to find the
things
word
going on.
passenger in the email that
Just,
we got to get
just
here,
have the balls to say it.
It's known.
Have the balls to
make
say
sure
it. There.
I understand here, gentlemen. So, Flo and Benjamin, are you saying that it's not passenger planes? You're saying it's another plane, or are you saying it's just mixed in altogether?
We're making no claim about the type of plane. They're trying to restrict the definition.
No, they're trying to narrow the definition so that you can just take a fucking position instead of dancing around it for an hour and a half. Like, my God, bro.
We're going with
Make it so
the
they didn't
Let me ask this then: where do you think the chemtrails are coming from, or is there a
I don't-
specification?
No, there's no specification.
So I didn't make a
then you're in the
claim
wrong place.
on positively where they came from, but I did lay out the positive information that it's easily tracked down. And this is you can go to airport reporting. There was a giant drop in
Airport reporting?
commercial flights. All
Yeah, we know that you
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay, fine, yes. There was a drop in commercial flights and certain and cloud seeding didn't fall. So what? What's the point here?
Four times. You don't need to say it again.
Third time, yeah.
the trail coverage of, and again, MIT
I
doesn't.
think
go,
he's just got like a few
Yeah.
phrases.
Yeah.
Ben, we got
He
that.
forgot. He forgot already.
Yeah, he's got a few phrases he's just repeating. That's what it is.
So I don't know who's doing it, but the trails are still there, and you guys
So
keep making
what
claims
trails
that
are still
they're
there?
from these jets.
What
that
trails
depleting
are still
water.
there?
Well, then
What
why
trails
is
are
it-
still there?
why are they-
Behind
why
which
are
planes?
planes all got
What
grounded?
trails are
Who's
still there?
doing it? I don't know.
We talk so much. What trails are still there?
Ask MIT.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking your ass because you are here defending it. Oh my God, dude. Again, doesn't understand the first fucking thing about logic.
Ask MIT.
Yeah.
No,
The answer is
you are
is
in the
making that
debate.
claim.
What trail?
MIT is
Right,
not
just-
in the
guys,
debate
stop.
tonight.
Please, right. Please.
MIT registered
Dude,
how
wait,
much
wait,
trail
stop,
coverage
stop,
there
really,
was.
stop,
Gentlemen,
please. Jesus
enough.
Christ, man.
You were
You
trying to
just
interrupt
said,
the shit out of
please
me.
stop. Let me answer. Please,
Hold-
Jesus Christ.
Gentlemen, I'm about to go mom on all your asses because you're all doing it to each other. So please,
No, they're not. The idiots on the left are definitely doing it more.
at least just wait for the person to
Look
finish.
how stressed MC is.
Okay, let me. So, you just said the trails are still there. Balderson, what trails are you referring to?
Whatever MIT is referring to, there was only a 20%.
Oh my God, dude.
They don't make a claim of what.
No, you just said the trails are still there. What trails?
You guys are the only ones doing that, telling us you know what comes out of any given.
Sarah, can you ask me the question?
Dude believes that he's come up with an answer to literally anything anybody ever says, and it is you tell me. And he doesn't have to like participate in the debate in any way anymore because he just keeps saying you tell me, you tell me. Oh my God.
It's just like it's
this dude cries like a little liberal girl every time.
Sarah, can you
Like a little liberal girl, are you shitting me?
I
the question?
will
It's every time I ask you, he says something else.
translate to you, Benjamin, that if your answer when he's saying where are the chemtrails and you're saying I don't know, which means okay, well then what are your sources here in this particular conversation? Where's this coming from? Because
He has no sources because he's realized how absurd his position is, and now he is backed into you tell me. Now he's trying to flip the burden of proof because he doesn't have any answers, and he knows he doesn't have any answers.
if you're saying yes, they are real, essentially you have to have proof behind why they're
said
real.
MIT.
Right.
He already said MIT. He's already, and I don't know why he even went into
Well, great, fine, then give me the source. You can't just say MIT. You have to give me the source.
the diatribe again. We've already covered that. It was MIT. And
MIT said what?
No, we were not making any
What
claim as
did
to where
MIT
the planes
say?
come from.
What did MIT
It
say?
said, come pick up your mom.
One of you
House
took
too
the
long.
time. One at a time.
All
Jesus
right. You're all a fucking wrecking ball. My goodness. I thought
MIT
this was
said
gonna be
what?
She shouldn't be pinning it. I mean, she's trying to be in the middle, and I understand that. But she shouldn't, like, there's an objectively correct answer here. And the objectively correct answer is the dudes on the left are being fucking idiots and refusing to answer anything honestly because they have no honest answers.
One of you, please answer.
I said,
MIT
come get
said
your mom.
what?
She's drunk and I'm tired of her.
Right. MIT said what? Please, one of you answer.
Yeah, please
That's it.
give the clarification on MIT, Benjamin. You made the claim. I'd like to hear further.
What they're trying to do is get me to make a claim on how much.
No, I'm just asking what you're
Dude, he is now afraid to make any claims at all. The debate is over now, right?
talking about.
Right.
Hold on, Craig. Hold on, Craig. Hold on, Craig.
And you can't yell at him because they're girls.
What? You can't yell at him because they're girl. What the fuck?
You
said what?
fellow girls, but
Craig.
tell this
Craig.
woman to shut up
MIT
for a minute.
said what?
Hold on, Craig. Let him talk.
MIT said what, Balderson? What did MIT say? Be specific.
There's no answer.
Can I answer without you opening your
Oh my
pipe?
god, just fucking say it, dude.
You need to mute.
Just
You
actually
need to
answer
talk.
then.
Four of you are children.
You didn't have it, Van.
Craig.
The four of them are not children. It's the two on the left that are refusing to participate honestly in this debate. Now, I don't think that's just my bias showing. I'm trying really hard to honestly like analyze this from like an objective perspective and not just through a biased lens. But it definitely feels like the two on the left are the fools here, right?
Be quiet. Balderson, go ahead.
So MIT said that trail coverage, again, like I've explained numerous times.
Oh, is this just his claim that there were more like contrails, or there were just as many contrails during COVID? Is that what he's saying? Okay.
That it only dropped 22%. Now, then you turn around and you go to flight logs for commercial and private. And you notice that commercial and private flights of all kinds, whether they're cargo, whether they're whatever, dropped by 70% and 80%. So there is a giant discrepancy that apparently you can't get a hold of who's doing that. And these are leaving some kind of a trail. And I don't know what it is. And guess what? You guys
Who's
don't
leaving what kind of trail? That's what you keep
I
saying.
don't know. See, you keep trying to make me to make.
Oh my god, dude. Then why are we here? This is him trying to back himself into a defensible position because he knows his real position is indefensible. This is him basically conceding the debate.
Trails,
You don't
what
know.
are you referring to there?
Can I, Sarah? I read something here.
Wait.
Go ahead, MC.
All right,
Let me
this
answer
is-
his question quickly. I know where he's going and where the problem is. He thinks that every single plane that flies has a contrail.
You think it's a 1-to-1 ratio? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the case. Even if global air travel dropped by 80%, that does not mean there will be a direct ratio in the drop of contrails. Not every plane releases a contrail. There are many factors depending on how high it is, the temperature, the humidity. So your argument falls apart because there is no correlation in the way that you are thinking. I don't know why you're nodding, because you've just debunked yourself.
No, he didn't. Because
Dude,
some trails have to come from somewhere. Hold on. Ben, first of all, shut up, Ben. Ben, you overtalked, and so now we're defending something that's not even important. You fucked up there. Now, but it didn't make sense anyways.
You overtalked?
Sense anyways, because if it's not passenger J planes flying around, but there's still the same amount of trails floating in the sky.
We just explained that. We literally just explained that. Toon, can you try? Because this is like talking
Go ahead,
to a child.
give it a try too.
they're
Rubik's Cube, I want to hear from you because number one didn't explain it well. He didn't explain anything, actually. He just asked questions.
Oh my god, dude, it's so fucking stupid.
What is that? Is that Zima?
Toon, you want to try? I thought I'd explained it. And
the problem is
my understanding.
they don't know how to participate in a debate here. The critical thing in a debate is here, I got Debater's Guide here. I recommend getting this book. The critical thing in a debate is each side has a positive claim, right? Page 22 right here. We've got the debater should understand three more terms at this point. Burden of proof, burden of rebuttal, and burden of communication. The burden of proof is a primary rule in any argument or debate. It first requires the affirmative to bear the burden of proving the proposition. What is your proposition? You don't know your proposition. Subsequently,
Yes,
it
do you want to
requires
hear it again?
every
He
speaker
doesn't want to hear it again.
Hold on. Stop, Flo. Enough.
Why is he teaching us this shit?
It's fine. Obviously, this debate is gone array, so it's might as well let him explain to you why you're being retarded right now.
No,
I get it.
Damn, sick burn.
debate about how to have a debate. That's what's happening here.
I agree with.
What's the first one again? What's the first one?
Flo, I already explained this to you earlier, and he's giving you literally the book's guide of what I.
What is the first thing you said there? The first point.
I'm
Try
done.
and dumb
You
it down,
interrupted
maybe.
me.
Oh my God, you big fucking baby. The first thing was know your claim, right?
Yeah.
What was my claim? Have I stated my claim?
No.
Well, I mean, it was in the debate subject. You're debating over something specifically, right? And the debate was over whether chemtrails exist, I believe.
You won't
That
make
they're
a claim.
claiming-
Part of the problem.
You won't make a
There are
claim.
planes spraying chemicals, not condensation. And then you guys go, whoa, oh, we know.
Well, then they win. Everybody knows that that's what's happening. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, hang on. Did he say not condensation? He says they're spraying chemicals rather than condensation. I missed that little ditty there for a second. No, that's just nonsense. That's definitely possible to pick apart.
They spray
Which-
that. That's geoengineering.
Which planes?
Yeah, which plane specifically are you talking about?
Which planes?
That one.
Which
So
one?
you understand that that's a secondary positive
Got it.
claim you're trying to
You
force
don't
on us.
know which.
He thinks that them making claims is actually, he thinks that him making claims is actually them forcing claims on them.
Your concession of the actual claim, which you
So-
conceded, and they're like, yeah, but you can't beat us in this one now.
Nobody disagrees that geoengineering is a thing. All right.
Okay.
What is your claim?
Will
So
you
you're
acknowledge?
by the very nature
One
of
at a
the way
time.
you made it, you're
Yo.
claiming that more of them are contrails than chemtrails is what you're claiming now because you're already conceding.
No, I think they're claiming that there are no chemical trails in passenger planes. That it is just contrails in passenger planes.
Chemtrails.
Yes, we can
do
tell you the
exist,
exact
and
amount.
now you're,
We can find that information.
you're trying to force us when you're claiming already that more of them are
Dude, this guy is just pissed off now. He's just like curmudgeonly and angry and refusing to think logically in any way now. This is sad. He's just kind of given up on it. In fact, I feel like they've both just kind of given up on trying to convince anybody of anything, right?
Contrails when let me see that proof. Where's
Let me
the
be clear to you.
percentage?
Every single line. Oh, you're still good.
Go
Let me
ahead,
be clear to you. Every single line you see in the sky is a contrail, not a chemtrail. If there are any chemtrails, they are not lines in the sky like you see behind passenger jets. They are other things, and they will tell you before they are doing it. That is how you can find out the exact percentage of what is contrails versus chemtrails by looking at the information available.
So I hate to point out to you, but when you read that
In
law,
my
it said
out there.
persons. It said persons need to report. That doesn't include government contractors.
Are you fucking serious right now? What is this, some stupid sovereign citizen shit? The law says persons must report when they're spreading chemtrails or whatever. I didn't actually hear him say that, but okay. And you're saying that doesn't include government contractors because, what, they're not persons? You've got to be fucking joking.
It said persons need to report. That doesn't include government contractors. That doesn't include all kinds of different
Yes,
things.
it does.
Where the fuck did you get that?
As I pointed out, and there's actual easy statistics
Yes, it does.
to back this up. Is
Yes, it does. You're wrong.
Yeah, because the
Wrong,
government
wrong,
never
wrong,
sprays
wrong,
things without telling us what
wrong,
they're spraying.
wrong,
That's how the Tuskegee
Hold on,
experiment
hold
happened.
on.
Get back in the lane.
Wrong, wrong,
And
wrong,
so-
wrong.
Hold,
You-
hold on,
wrong.
Craig.
I mean, he's just, the dude on the left is just arguing pointless, useless, stupid shit, and he's just lying and giving absolutely zero evidence for anything. So I guess I understand them, like, not having any interest in bothering to listen to him here, but
Hold on.
He's just saying wrong the whole time I'm
You're
talking.
wrong.
Craig.
Sorry.
Greg, look what
Greg,
you're doing
hold
to your
up,
partner.
stop.
You're going to kill your partner.
Stop. Craig, you
All
are
right.
the biggest complainer of being interrupted, and you're
Yeah, sorry. He was
All right.
waffling a thing he'd
I
already
will-
said, so
I
I
will
was just
read-
mocking him.
it's like this dude the other night in a debate with me. He was saying they found chariot wheels in the Red Sea. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. That was a lie. That was a fictitious fucking article written by some random website forever ago. I remember reading about it. It was garbage. It was disproven like instantly. Everybody knows that was complete bullshit. What are you supposed to do when people claim that shit? Like, am I supposed to just let them continue on to explain how this proves their point or whatever? It's nonsense. That never happened.
Because the thing
Hold
I
on,
said
hold
is
on.
you guys keep pretending like I didn't say that thing that I said,
Yeah,
and like that doesn't
We
bear.
already answered
And
you.
the whole thing
Here
is
we
you
go.
guys keep saying passenger planes don't leave the trail. I'm not even fighting that. Neither did Flo in any way, shape, or form. Because when they
Craig.
Sorry.
Okay, now Craig is kind of dropping the ball here. Come on, Craig, pull it together, man.
See, if he's on repeat, then there's no point in listening to
when
it,
you
you know?
asked me to say it, you keep asking the same for
And we've already answered the question. I don't know why you'd ask it
Not
again.
answering to the positive
We have
claim
answered
you
it.
guys made.
We've answered it specifically. I just did it.
And when
So
I
if you ask-
answer, you don't shut the fuck up.
I answered
You're
you
like,
specifically.
you're fucking
All right,
uglier.
Sarah,
Did you just
Sarah.
say I don't shut the fuck
Gentlemen,
up?
gentlemen, enough.
Mute all three of them, please.
I might actually. I normally don't mute gentlemen, but I'm going to have to do this tonight because you're all getting on my fucking nerves. All right. And if I need to do this the whole
Dude, Ray Charles can't see nothing on the left. Whoever the fuck this is hasn't said anything in a while. I love listening to him because he's like such a ridiculous propagandist.
I will. Go ahead, MC.
You might not. You might need to. All right. He made the claim that that persons don't include corporations. Quote from 15 U.S. Code 330.
No, I didn't.
Thanks, Sarah.
You can
He's just gonna like deny everything and then just pretend that this shit is true. Like he's just gonna make things up wantonly and then deny ever saying anything if he doesn't like want to attach himself to the claim anymore. That's just fucking wild, dude.
that. I'm just
Stop unmuting the. Okay, we're just going to do this. All right. Go ahead, MC.
Thank you.
I might have to do this the whole night.
He very clearly tried to claim that persons, it doesn't include corporations. Quote 15 U.S. Code 330. 2. The term, quote, person, unquote, means any individual, corporation, company, association, firm, partnership, society, joint stock company, any state or local government, or any agency thereof, or any other organization, whether commercial or nonprofit, who is performing weather modification activities, except where acting solely as an employee, agent, or independent contractor of the federal government.
Okay. Balderson, you.
Ray and Bald, you see your breath on a cold morning due to the same reason that causes contrails. So are you spreading harmful chemicals into the air? Yeah, I said this earlier, and the answer is apparently yes. I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Something to say back.
I never said corporations. You are the biggest straw man making motherfucker.
Oh my God. He said persons doesn't include government contractors. If it's a government contractor, then it's either a person or a company
I ever saw. And I understand that that's what you guys are used to fighting, which is why you've been trying to provoke us into making ridiculous positive claims.
Oh my God. Provoke us into making. Come on, man.
Way you guys could be like, well, yeah, see, that's stupid. And that's the only way you guys know how to do things. I get that. Which is why I get that you guys have let yourself out of the flat earth debates for a minute, but you actually have to start backing your positive claims up in this way. It's really bad. I said contractors and government contractors do all kinds of shit without reporting it. All kinds of shit. Government agencies. Like I didn't. In fact, that's the entire reason. And like they contract.
Dude, okay, I can't understand a word they're saying. Again, she's got to be better about muting them. They got to take turns here for real.
No, they're not in contrails.
Okay, well then you've lost this debate. Thank you for coming.
I thought you disagreed with the geoengineering.
No.
Are you fucking serious? You thought he disagreed with geoengineering? He literally fucking said that geoengineering is happening. How can you possibly say that?
Disagrees with geoengineering.
Okay. So the issue here is that, so I don't know, maybe we need to ask.
Do you have a brain injury?
Maybe we need to ask someone who's not got a conflict of interest here, whether or not they think that weather modification chemicals count as chemtrails, or whether they think that it has to be.
Farmers crop dusting their fields is not chemtrails. He knows full well what he means when he says chemtrails. He means the government brainwashing people with chemicals. That is not happening. That is fictitious.
Passenger plane.
Would you like me to answer, or do
I think openly for the conversation, I don't think it has to be passenger trains, or passenger planes. I think
well, the reason he's saying passenger planes is because we know that, like, government airplanes are like doing cloud seeding, for example, or like farmers are doing crop dusting. His claim is that passenger jets, like basically all contrails, are actually chemicals being spread through the environment. That's what he's saying. That's why passenger jets are relevant here, or whatever.
In terms of the context of the conversation, are chemtrails real? We're not presuming one thing or another in terms of how those trails get there, right? But that you have the burden of proof to show that they are real.
Well, everybody agrees that they're real. They're just trying to carve out the big, obvious, instance of it. Well, that's not really a contrail. That's completely moving the goalpost.
No,
those aren't real. In your
common
statement,
all right,
you
sorry,
said
I said one word. Right, okay, never mind. I thought you'd finished.
All right, you know what?
Right, the common known definition of chemtrail, the conspiracy. I was in the middle of talking. The known common definition of chemtrails used by conspiracy theorists is referring to the lines left behind passenger jets that you find crisscrossing the sky in a busy day.
Aren't we the conspiracy theorists here?
Yes. I mean, I got this from the r/chemtrails subreddit, and all through the entire subreddit, you can find people posting images of like just normal contrails from like normal whatevers, and they're claiming they're giving us an additional claim on top of it that it's not just contrails, it's chemtrails. All that shit came from passenger jets by and large. These people are so completely full of shit. They cannot be honest about literally anything.
You are. Yes. That is what we are discussing.
So you're
As
telling me
you
what the
are the ones
common
here
known
saying that
definitions that we
chemtrails
use
are those things. You have the burden of proof to show that there are secret organizations spraying the masses with chemicals, because that is the debate we're having. If not, you shouldn't have come.
So as the conspiracy theorists, you should let us define how we define things for you.
Yeah,
Well,
and
you
I also
disagree with the other
wonder if
conspiracy
the
theorists, that's
debate,
fine.
if the debate was, is it passenger? It's the chemicals coming out of passenger planes. What's crisscrossing the sky, and are those chemtrails?
They entered this debate under the belief and understanding that these people were going to debate chemtrails. Obviously, this is such a bullshit move to try to defend something so fucking ridiculous like that. Like, this is such a bullshit tactic to win an argument. You're not even arguing with them. Come on.
I'm not sure that wasn't the debate. And
Well,
I don't know what
that
did
is
at
what
any
I assumed
given
the
place.
debate was. That's what I assumed the debate was.
You guys
Did you
conceded
assume
the
that's what the
original
debate is?
debate.
Yeah,
and now we're
I
trying
took
make-
chemtrail to
make
be the
us
thing
make
that
a
all the people say
secondary
chemtrails are.
Right, Sarah,
we appear to-
I just talked to all the people.
All right, gentlemen, all
Sorry,
three
sorry.
of you,
Yeah,
or four
Tara.
of you, are get on your.
Sarah,
Go ahead,
apologies.
Craig.
We appear to have wasted your time. Toon and I came under the assumption that we were here debating the commonly known assumption that the trails left behind jet planes are actually
You don't get to
chemicals
play
sprayed.
commonly known like that.
Oh, no, I was, excuse me, I'm talking to
Oh my god, dude, they cannot help but to talk over each other. Really.
If you
Hold
could just
on,
keep when I'm
Craig, go
talking to Sarah,
ahead.
if you could, yeah. Toon and I came in here under the false assumption that this debate was about whether the things left, the lines left behind.
If somebody says they doing this limbo for 4 hours, yeah. We're not going to watch the whole thing if it's going to be like this the whole time, but I do find it fascinating to listen to them complain about. Like, we've already gotten some really interesting like takes or whatever on chemtrails and what they believe about them.
Passenger jets that crisscross the sky are in fact secret chemicals sprayed by the government or whatever, and not in fact, condensation and moisture known as contrails. We apologize that we came here under the assumption that that was debate. These guys seem to think the debate is something completely different, so I do apologize for wasting everybody's time.
You can find the cue to something that really, by definition, we probably can't prove, right? If
Of course.
How the
That's
fuck
why
can
it's
we
so
have
easy.
proof of it?
That's why it's so ridiculous for people to believe that position.
I'm a fairly well-known speaker in the conspiracy world, and funny, none of us
Well-known dumbass,
put this
yes.
passenger
No one
word
thinks
that
you're
you
funny.
keep smuggling into it. Nobody puts that in there.
Hold on.
They say there's trails
Everybody
up there.
does.
Nobody
Awesome.
goes,
Every-
"Oh, it's
I
passenger."
just talked to
Then-
everybody and they said you're lying.
Everybody
Then be-
weird.
No, I spoke to everyone.
Then you
Stop.
should be.
Stop.
You should.
Stop.
I know.
Stop.
That's what she said.
Flo and Benjamin.
He's such an obnoxious fucking... I'm not that guy. I'm not always going to be bagging on people.
Where do chemtrails come from?
Sprayed out the back of planes.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. Sprayed out the back of planes. We got a claim. We got an actual full claim now. That means he doesn't believe that it's just contrails. He thinks that it's an intentional effort to spread chemicals through the atmosphere and affect people's health or whatever intentionally and knowingly.
Which planes?
Doesn't matter. That is not relevant to the prompt.
That is exactly all that I'm here for.
Okay,
If you can't define
find
which
any-
planes,
like I said,
then I
find
have no reason to
anywhere-
be here.
The reason he doesn't just say in planes designed for that rather than passenger planes is because he believes that it's passenger planes. And the reason passenger planes is relevant is because he claims all contrails are actually chemtrails, which is a complete nonsense at its face. The contrails are not real is basically his claim, and he's trying to back him into that corner of just fucking admitting it. Seems like.
If
Craig,
that's
do you
what
have a
you're-
reason to be
find
here if you can't define which
find
planes?
Any time in the email.
Flo and Benjamin, are chemtrails coming out? Is it a possibility that they're coming out of passenger trains? I keep saying fucking
It was not. It doesn't matter. It wasn't the
passenger
prompt at
planes,
all.
jet planes. Well, where do the chemical trails?
Why are we answering this? Can we? Well, I'll answer it. We'll answer it if we can concede that we've won the point, because that's got nothing to do with the prompt of the.
Oh my God, just fucking answer it then. If it's irrelevant, answer it.
Yeah, sure. You won. Good job. Well done. I bet your mum's proud.
Thank you. Where is it coming from? I don't think it's coming from passenger planes. I think it's coming from private contractors, probably. I don't know, but I would assume that.
Oh my God, dude. Okay.
So the lines in the sky, are we all referring to the lines of the sky? Can I at least get
No, they're not. We are.
Flo, do you think there are lines in the sky?
Yes.
And what are they?
Lines in the sky. Okay, we're all referring to the lines in the sky. Can we make the argument based on lines in the sky?
Yes, we think the lines in the sky are in fact contrails, condensation vapors left behind from the combustion of jet engines. Do you two agree with us?
Do not.
So all contrails are chemtrails, is what he is saying, and passenger jets do not leave contrails. That is his claim. But just earlier, the dude said that passenger planes leave trails. He said when COVID happened, passenger flights dropped by 70%, or whatever, but contrails only dropped by 20%. Am I remembering correctly? They're contradicting themselves left and right because they don't want to be nailed down on a point. They keep moving from thing to thing to thing so that they can't be pinned down on something that they honestly believe. It's contradiction after contradiction after contradiction with these people.
Okay.
Right. Do you have evidence that? Yeah. Do you have evidence that the lines we see in the sky are not the things that I've just said?
Which lines specifically are you referring to?
Any lines?
Because we're looking at different lines.
The lines we see in the sky.
I live in Kansas City. You sound like you don't live in Kansas City. So
yeah, I do. I'm 2 doors behind you.
Sweet.
I run the local HOA. You haven't paid your fines.
Oh my God.
No, I don't have an HOA.
That's probably why I haven't paid your fines, because you didn't realize. Yeah, so the lines specifically we are talking about are the lines you see behind passenger jets that leave crisscrossing the sky on a busy day. Do you think that they are contrails, condensation vapors, yes or no?
I don't think those are passenger jets crisscrossing the skies. I think you're referencing 2 different types of planes.
So if it leaves a contrail, then it is not a passenger jet, is what he's saying. This is so easily disprovable. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous that this dude won't just admit that what he's saying is nonsense.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
we're literally referencing the passenger jets that you see in the sky.
How do I know what jets are crisscrossing?
Okay, right. You just said they're not passenger jets. Do you have evidence they're not passenger jets?
That's what I want to come back to for Flo and Benjamin. Okay, because they MC and Craig have made the claim that those lines in the sky are contrails, correct, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that's their belief. All right. Now you believe otherwise. So now it is your duty to provide proof that it is something else.
There you go. Now this is starting to smooth out. I may remove parts of the debate, like in the final products, depending on how absurd or obnoxious or ridiculous it is and how useful it is for us to, continue forward or whatever.
Explain what else it is. You can say chemtrails, but they have provided the physics behind what they believe, provides something.
They didn't, though. That's where you're getting lost. They provided a formula for combustion. That doesn't at all demonstrate that what they're looking at in the sky is just combustion.
They made a positive claim and made no. You wouldn't if we.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. He's backing himself back into this position of, I don't know what's in the sky. Contrails may or may not be chemicals. Didn't he just contradict that?
Make such a loose positive claim, like as a matter of fact, Flo did make a loose positive claim where he said it's aluminum and whatnot, and they went, well, how do you know it's aluminum? How do you measure how the aluminum affects things? Blah blah blah, and they went off on an entire thing like that. But they apparently can make loose positive claims, and they don't have to back theirs up. And the press.
So can we?
Everyone has to back up their claims. The thing is, this guy, Balderson or whatever the fuck, is disagreeing with science. He's disagreeing with the scientific consensus. And he knows that. He's a science denier. If you want to disagree with the science, you have to back up your positions. You can just go look up the scientific position. This dude is not making some incredible claim or whatever. Like when I wrote my book, Was Hitler an Atheist? I didn't put anything in there that disagreed with the historical consensus or the scientific understanding of anything. I didn't have to back anything extra up. I just had to, all I did was explain the scientific, the historical, scholarly analysis. It was really fucking hard to find. And I read books that are literally out of print and haven't been in print in 30, 40, 50 years, actually since 1980 maybe. So it's not like, you know, the book was pointless. It's useful to have that information, obviously. But you can just go find the scientific information, is the point. These people are not making incredible claims about anything. They're just explaining the scientific position. You are contradicting it. He's trying desperately to flip the burden of proof.
Establish how you know that it's only condensation coming out the back and not something else. Condensation in.
Yes, because as we've explained several times, if it's something else, they have to say so.
Okay.
This is a scientific position. Again, there is a law that they must explain what they're doing. Now, you have the burden of proof to show us that it's something other than what they're saying.
So can you demonstrate?
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Okay.
Who sprayed the chemicals for the Tuskegee experiment?
Hold on. That's
Oh my God, dude. Just a quick refresher. Hang on. Farmers have crop dusting planes. That's not a surprise. That's not some big evil secret, blah, 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 whatever. We know that planes are capable of releasing chemicals from the back. Everybody has always known that. That's not a surprise. That's not what he's claiming. He's claiming that there's like some, you know, conspiracy to brainwash literally everybody. It's nonsense. Hackers. Okay. Tuskegee experiment conducted by the U.S. Public Health Service targeting 600 black men in Tuskegee, Alabama. 399 of them had syphilis. 201 did not and were used as controls. Purpose? Claimed to study the natural progression of untreated syphilis. Reality: the men were never told they had syphilis. They were told they had bad blood, a vague term that covered several illnesses. They were promised free medical care, meals, and burial insurance, but were not given proper treatment even after penicillin became the standard cure in the 40s. What went wrong? The deception. Participants were lied to and misled about their diagnosis and treatment. No informed consent. They didn't know the real purpose of the study. Withheld treatment. Even when penicillin was widely available, men were deliberately denied access so researchers could continue the study. What does the Tuskegee experiment have to do with this? I don't understand. I'm lost. How is this connected to anything at all?
Okay. Who sprayed the chemicals for the Tuskegee experiment?
Hold on.
Sprayed the chemicals. Sprayed the chemicals for the Tuskegee experiment? What chemicals were sprayed for this? Am I missing something? It's possible that I just am unfamiliar with what he's talking about, but this does not sound right to me, like, at all. Is he just, like, saying words for the sake of it?
That's not even where we need to go. All right. So now,
hand up.
Now, can you show then that the planes that are...
Look at this shit-eating face. Like, look at this ridiculous fucking I won face on Balderson, dude on the second from the left. Like he just got a W or something. Like nothing he's saying makes any sense. You know, I'm bordering on, does he have brain damage right now? And he thinks that he won.
So now,
hand up.
Now, can you show then that the planes that are gridding the sky are not the ones spraying chemicals?
Yes, you can go to planetracker.com and track every single passenger jet in the world.
You can track just about any plane, even private ones like Elon Musk's, for example. Probably not military ones, but yeah, this is all public information. You can look up above, you can open an app and it'll show you where all the planes are. We know for a fact passenger jets are making contrails, period.
Tune over to
Okay. But we'd have to do that in the future. The ones that we've already seen.
This is where Toon talks. He's been waiting patiently.
You don't determine who talks. And
Fucking, are you shitting me? You don't determine who talks.
Toon talks. He's been waiting patiently.
You don't determine who talks. And
Finish your statement, Flo, and then to MC, please.
Okay, so I know how to do homework in the future to look at future planes. How do we know about the past planes that were gridding the sky?
Oh, so now this is Mott and Bailey. He's backing into, that this may not actually be Mott and Bailey specifically. He's backing himself into a position that's more defensible when we started out understanding what his position was, and it was completely different from what he's presenting us now. He's saying, okay, well, maybe we can prove that they're not spraying chemtrails right now. But what about in the past? Are you fucking kidding me with this? The Tuskegee experiment was something performed by the U.S. government back in the height of the Cold War. Yeah, but it wasn't, it was about syphilis, right? I don't know what this guy's talking about with, like, how it's connected to airplanes. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Am I missing something? Is there a different Tuskegee experiment that I'm unaware of? Or something?
It's
See, this is the issue with the.
You can look at the past.
This is the issue with the questions.
I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question. You can look at the past flights of planes. Now, please, can we let Toon speak? I've been waiting for him for ages.
All right, the Tuskegee was in the 50s. The law that you cited in your citation is from 1972, so it is after that. But
I'm honestly not sure how it's connected to anything at all. Tuskegee, I mean, that was a syphilis test. Anyway, yeah, tell me what you think about this in the comments. I'm actually kind of interested. I just wish these dudes on the left would engage with this in an intellectually honest way instead of pretending that like they're being victimized by the dudes on the right. It's kind of fucking absurd, honestly. Tell me your thoughts.